So you're thinking about trying avoidance abroad. Consider this your 101 guide to how to do extreme mold avoidance abroad and basically the overall logistics that you're going to need to know to get started doing avoidance abroad. I'm Molly Shave. I made a recovery from chronic illness doing extreme avoidance while abroad. We started doing it within about a month of starting avoidance. We got on a plane to Spain and we visited 22 countries since. Of those, about 20 of those, I would recommend doing avoidance in, and I think it's a really great approach to avoidance. So one of the first questions that I always get when people wonder about doing avoidance abroad is, where should you go? Well, like I said, we've been to 22 countries and 20 of those I would recommend over the United States. So really it's a pretty wide field of where you should go, but there are some general considerations. So Europe as a whole is awesome. We love spending time in Europe. We've also been to the Middle East and to Southeast Asia. And so right now, as you're probably aware, the Middle East, probably not a great plan. And Europe is awesome, like I said, but you're gonna run into this really key issue of visas. So in Europe right now, there is no easy way around the visa issue. So you get 90 days per 180 days. So out of every half a calendar year, you can be there for 3 months, and that is it. That's it. It does not start again if you step out of the country. It does not start again under any circumstances. You can do it as 1 month in, 1 month out, 1 month in, 1 month out. It doesn't matter, but you only get 3 months per 180 days basically in Europe as a whole at this point. It's called the Schengen zone, and the Schengen zone now includes pretty much everywhere, even including Eastern Europe and all of Western Europe, and it doesn't include the UK. So that's one tool that's left there if you have the budget. But yeah, so that's the real challenge that you're going to face with Europe pretty quickly. And if you happen to have, say, like a sufficient income or a remote job that pays a lot and you're willing to pay a lot of taxes, then maybe a digital nomad visa makes sense. If you have a pretty lucrative pension already of some sort, or you're just somehow planning on not working, there is a non-lucrative visa in Spain, and I believe there's one in Portugal, so those are both also on the table. But if you don't have a visa, then the issue with Europe is that, again, you get 3 months of every 6 months, so you can't actually go and settle down there in any kind of meaningful way immediately. So like, do I think it's worth going there to explore? Absolutely. It's astounding. They have like real chemical laws, which makes a really big difference. A thing called REACH, which means that for us, it's easy to find food. It's easy to find like even personal care products. We usually just kind of go minimalist on that. But like if we wanted shampoo, we can actually use like regular from the store shampoo in Europe sometimes. Wild. The UK and Ireland are both currently different visa zones, so you could spend the 3 months that you're not in Europe in those places if you have the budget. So to get something that is probably going to feel good and not have very much mold is going to be a lot of money there, like more like a United States kind of price for a hotel, or even more potentially depending on the season. In the summer, we did spend a summer in a van up in Scotland, and that was really lovely. That's a choice, but in the winter, I really think it's too cold and damp to do that. So that kind of leaves you with an issue. There's Morocco, which we haven't gone to. It's kind of outside of our current comfort zone. And there's not a lot more options within Europe right now. So, and then the Middle East, like we said, is out. And so that leaves Southeast Asia as another option to consider. And Southeast Asia is not where I would start avoiding abroad for the first time. It's really intense just from a general travel perspective. So we're talking like walking on the sidewalk, you might get hit by a car, you might get hit by a motorbike, you might get hit by a motorbike towing a giant thing with a hot fry oil thing. Like my husband's literally had, praise be to God, slow collisions, but 2 collisions with a motorbike while on foot. He was walking and he got hit. Slow, but still. And that's been since we've been healed and paying attention. So it's like Southeast Asia is just a whole nother level of like, you need your wits about you. There's also scams to avoid. There's like a lot of, it's not travel on easy mode, but it is cheap. And a couple of the countries are still okay with you staying for a while. So like Thailand used to be a really easy in and out, and now they do actually have a number more visa options, but again, you'll pay taxes. But still, Thailand has visa options. Vietnam is still as best I've heard, okay with people coming in and out. You do have to apply in advance for a visa to Vietnam. Cambodia and Laos are other options. And then Malaysia also has options and has the ability to come in and out. And so we didn't do well in Bali, though, I will say that. I think maybe before the pandemic, people are having a great time there. But for us personally, it was just not a place that we're gonna be. And you're gonna hear that I'm gonna do my best to only speak positive about places. Some of the local laws include that you cannot speak poorly about another place or government publicly on social media, or there can be serious ramifications, including being denied entry. So I am not speaking negatively about anything. You make your own decisions, but so if you hear me like only giving positive comments, that's why. But yeah, so those are the options in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia is really hot. They use a lot of pesticides, like a lot of pesticides. Like Southeast Asia, it's a jungle, right? And there's no bugs. Yeah. So it's like a lot of pesticides. There are a lot of really new pieces of construction that have not gone moldy yet that you can have because you have a lot of currency leveraging in Asia. But there's not much chemical laws, there's not much kind of regular law as a whole, not kind of like we're used to. It can be downright dangerous. We did have a dangerous incident for real in one of the places where we had found a really lovely spot to be. It was, mold safe, it was great. And then it wasn't safe. And so we got on a plane the same day because it was like not safe. So that's the thing. And there's no perfect place to be in the world, but I guess the reasons now why you should consider avoiding abroad, those are the logistics that you have to figure out, and you have to figure out, flying, and you have to figure out visas, and you have to figure out where to stay, and all these things, and those are solvable problems. But so the reason you should consider it, though, is because we live a more or less normal life abroad. We have been able to work. I've been able to start a company. We go to coffee shops. My daughter likes to play at parks and arcades. We do crafts. We have time to make YouTube content like this. We do art sometimes. We cook, we go out to eat, we go out for dessert, we go do fun things for just kind of no reason because it's fun. We have regular objects, we have a regular life, we can even order things online. So avoiding abroad has really opened up this kind of like regular life to us. And honestly, the amount that we pay to do all those things, even in Europe, is half or a third of what we would have paid for the same experiences and activities and housing and kind of things back in America. So those are all reasons that it's really, really worth it, I think, to consider avoiding abroad. And so now that you've heard kind of my Logistics 101, you're probably like, wow, that's a little overwhelming. And it is, but it's also, you just kind of make a choice and you go with it, right? Like there's no perfect route forward in any part of life, but this has opened up regular life to us, which is just, it's amazing. It's been really fun. And so if you are interested in figuring out kind of your own path to this, and you're like, yeah, this is great, but I want somebody to actually help me either figure out, where I'm going to go first and what I'm going to do there, or you've already decided to hop on a plane and you're someplace else and you want like some day-to-day coaching. My husband is taking on a few coaching clients this month, so you can send me a message on Facebook and we can connect about that, and I can answer a few basic questions you have about setting up logistics as well for yourself coming abroad. Thanks for tuning in, follow, and I will be sharing more content about avoiding abroad on these platforms. If you have any specific questions or like content ideas that you want me to answer in another video, just post it below, and I'll see you later. Thanks, guys. You got this.